Hi guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my January wrap-up. Now in the month of January, I read 17 books. All right. There's a lot to go through, so I'm not gonna make the video long. I'm not gonna go through a detailed like summary of whatever. Nope. I'm just gonna, show you guys the books them that I read, if I liked it, if I didn't, and my rating. Detailed reviews I will do in like my book reviews videos, like separate book reviews on specific books, because I read some really good book in the month of January. January was a really good month for me, guys. In total, in the 17 books that I read for the month of January, I had 1 2-star read, I had 4 3-star reads, I had 6 4-star reads, and I had 5 5-star reads, which I find to be fantastic. I like that. I don't have a problem having a mixed bag like that. Yes, I had, one or two little disappointment, but that didn't stop the entire month of January's reading. Well, it didn't take away from my reading experience, so to speak. It was good. It was really good. Anywho's, let me stop babbling and jump right into it. I'll be reading out the books them in the order that I finished it, and the ratings. All right. So the first book I finished in the month of January is And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini, or Hosseini. I think that's his name. Anywho's, can't pronounce names, please bear up with me. This book, guys, I enjoyed it. The book, oh, Siri again. Oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, this was my first. This was the first book I finished in the month of January. It was enjoyable. I had a little, in the beginning, it was a rocky relationship with it. But overall, my overall experience after I got over, the initial hurdle, I absolutely end up enjoying this book, and I gave it a 4-star rating. All right. The next book I read, it's from an author that I have him on my shelf. Here's him here, John Steinbeck. I have him on my shelf. I have never read anything from this author, but I had on my Kindle one of his short plays, which is a short play by him, Burning Bright. So I decided to pick that up and read it, and oh, it was amazing, guys. I enjoyed it immensely. I gave it a 4 stars, and I can't wait to dive into Steinbeck's bigger works like The Grapes of Wrath, and I have East of Eden, and I also want to read some more of his smaller, I would call them novellas, because once they aren't novel size to me, I call all of them novellas, like Mice of Men and stuff like that. I want to get to them and read them up, because I love his writing style. It jives with me perfectly, so I can't wait to dive into more of his work. Okay, the third book I finished in January is A Preface to Paradise by C.S. Lewis. Now, as I had mentioned for I think it was in my January TBR, some of these books were rollovers from December. A Preface to Paradise, I believe, was one of them. And also And the Mountains Echo, that was another one that was a rollover from December. I didn't finish it in December. So January month, I was, wrapping them up. I finished it out. Again, C.S. Lewis is, if you guys don't know by now, you're gonna know. C.S. Lewis is one of my favorite authors of all times. He can't do no wrong for me, guys. This was a 4-star read. It was magnificent, and like I said, I would go into details like a separate in a separate video, a review of this particular book. All right. The next book that I finished was Childhood by Leo Tolstoy. Again, guys, Leo Tolstoy, my boy, he can do no wrong for me. This was a 4-star read for me. Absolutely fantastic. This is a 3. In this particular, it's like I would call it like a trilogy. It's youth, childhood, and boyhood. I think it's something like that. If I'm mixing it up, I'll just put it over on the screen in the order that it's supposed to be. This is his second installation, if you want to call it, in that trilogy that Leo Tolstoy wrote. I read the first one, which was I think was Boyhood, and now I'm reading Childhood, and I think the next one would be Youth. All right, but enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read the final one in this particular trilogy for him, if you want to call it a trilogy, because people just basically just do a whole bind up of it and make it into one book. All right, the next book I read was Christianity and Liberalism by Machen J. Gresham. Wow, this, guys, was loaded with so much information. This particular author, it was a first from this author for me, and I mean, again, I don't even have words to say how much I enjoyed this book. I know this is a book that I am going to go back and read because it was so rich with information, at least to with things that I am interested in, because again, it speaks you know, my faith, Christianity, and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, this a must read for anybody who, one, is a Christian, or two, thinking, or you just want to read or know about the Christian faith, and you know what we stand, what it stands for, you know, what we are about, so to speak. A must read. All right, the next book that I read for January month is none other than C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity. Now this is a reread. I reread this book every single year. Must. I love this author. I love this book. This is a 5-star read. I mean, there's nothing more that I could say concerning this book other than I love it. I want everybody to read it, and I reread it every single year. It's almost come like a ritual for me. Next book that I read, this is the 7th one that I read for the month of January, is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. All right, again, this was a rollover book from 2022. I finally finished in January, and I'm so glad that I did. I gave this a 3 stars. It hurt me to give this a 3 stars. I really and truly wanted to give this more, but I had there was a lot of ups and downs in this book, real ups and downs. One thing I will say, because I want to do a separate book review on this book, I think it needs, you know, it just demands that it needs its own book review. The author's Morgenstern's writing is just painstakingly beautiful. She writes such beautiful prose, guys. This, I mean, in all the cons that I have of this book, and I have, if I just had to read this book based on the writing of the author and the story in and of itself, the imaginative nature of it, the wonderful world building and all that sort of good stuff, she would get her full marks. But sad to say, that's not all I read a book on, so it dropped to 3 points, 3 stars alone. So I mean, but overall, I did enjoy it. You know, I can't say that it left too much of a bad taste in my mouth. I did enjoy it, even though I had to sadly give it 3 stars. All right, moving on. The next book that I read is 84 Charing Crossroad by Helen Hanff. I did a book review for this one already. Absolutely love this book. Oh, it was just reading this book. Like I said, I felt like being wrapped in a, a warm fluffy blanket, you know, drinking or sipping a hot, a chocolate tea or something. It just, it's a feel good book for any book lover. I mean, mind you, anybody could read it, but specifically for people who love to read, I think this book will just hit this spot, and I absolutely recommend this book for anyone. The next book that I read for January month is This Is How We Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El Motor. I do not know if I pronounced her name wrong, and if I did, I'm sorry. This was the dud for me for January. This was one, I should say, of the duds for me for January. I didn't particularly appreciate or like this book, and mainly because of the style that it was written in. All right. I gave this book a 2.5, between a 2 or 2.5 star. It hurt me to do that because, again, this story had so much potential, but I just think the way in which the author chose, the style, I should say, the style in which the author chose to write the book, it didn't work well for me. So, I mean, the only thing I cared about in this book was being over and done with it. Yeah, and that's harsh, and I know it's harsh, but I just wanted the book to be over and done with, and I only pushed myself or forced myself through the book because I did not want to DNF a book that early in the year. I mean, this is the first month of the year, and I'm looking to DNF a book. No. So I pushed myself through it, and yeah, it was not really a good, a great experience for me. So it only got 2.5 stars. I will be doing a review on this particular book also because, yeah, I think it is so much to unpack in this book. The 10th read for January month was none other than The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This was my first time reading The Hobbit, guys, and I was blown away. This was such a good read. Of course, I gave it 5 stars because it deserved nothing less. Nothing less. I mean, as you guys could see, I absolutely enjoyed this. I know this will be a yearly reread for me. It was so good getting back into the, being reintroduced to characters like Gandalf and Smeagol, and the whole gang. It was really, really, really enjoyable. During the whole time I read this book, I just had a big smile plaster across my face. For this particular book, I recommend it for any and everyone, guy. You want a cozy, fun, adventure, The Hobbit is the thing for you guys. Pick it up. Okay, the 11th read that I read for January month was, now I may butcher this, but please forgive me, Recitative by Toni Morrison. This book was trippy, guys. It was an experiment in race. This was my first time reading Toni Morrison's work, and I absolutely loved it, guys. This particular read was she said this book was an experiment in race, and guys, it was exactly that. It's living in my mind rent-free. Let's put it like that. You understand? This is another book I would urge everyone to pick up. It's a very short read. Basically, it's about these two girls, orphan girls. One is black, one is white. We aren't told which is which, and it's like different snapshots of different times in these two girls' lives, and we as the reader are left to figure out, so to speak, who is who's black and who's white. which at times when I was absolutely sure this particular person was black or this particular person was white, yeah, I was left saying, I wonder. So again, I'm rambling a little on too much, but this book, guys, pick it up. Pick it up. It was good, and it's worth the read. All right. The next book that I read for January month is Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. All right. I have this beautiful Barnes and Noble Signature Classic, so I read the both of them together. This was, again, this book was the first time I'm reading. I have watched the show, so to speak. I've never read the book, so I wanted to read the book. The Alice in Wonderland, the first story, I gave like a 3.5 stars because I had always liked that. Through the Looking Glass, however, that was like a hit and miss for me. It was like I gave it like a 2.5 stars. It wasn't all that. Well, the both books together, it would be 3 stars. The 13th book that I read for January month was Stoner by John Williams. Guys, this was one of those books that you didn't plan for it. You didn't even have it on your radar. It wasn't nowhere in your vicinity, and it just came and blew me away. This I gave a 5-star read. Again, this is another book that's living rent-free in my mind. I've ordered a physical copy. What is so strange to me about this particular book, this book is so ordinary. This is just about an ordinary man from the time, let's just say from youthhood straight till his death. The author just giving an account of his life, choices and all that sort of good stuff that he made throughout his life. And to me, I don't know, maybe it's just the simpleness of the story that I connected with. I just can't get Stoner out of my head. You know what I'm saying? This book, pick it up, guys. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Also, this, I have a review coming. I'm working on my reviews because, again, for my channel, guys, I don't just like reading books. I like to sit down and do, one-on-one book reviews on the books them that I have read and what I thought about them and all that sort of good stuff. So, yes, I have a review coming up for Stoner in the next couple of weeks. All right. The next book that I read for January month was The Pity of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Now, I have the collected works of Oscar Wilde for the longest while on my Kindle. It's something that I need to block off time to read out all his works. Another one living rent-free in my mind. My review is coming up with this because the version that I read is the cleaned up version of The Pity of Dorian Gray. I got a copy of the original version that he released, and I want to read that so that I kind of can compare and contrast what he intended to give to the public and what is the version that we actually got, and kind of weigh if what eventually happened to this author because of this particular book, because this book was used in his trial, because he was tried for, I think, was indecency or something like that, and he was convicted for 2 years. And after he served his 2 year sentences, he basically lived a life in, shame and disgrace and all that sort of good stuff. So he fell from the high esteems that he once had. So I kind of want to do a deep dive and analysis into, this, I would say, pivotal book in his life / career. As soon as I'm finished reading the uncensored version, I'm going to definitely put up that, do the review and put it up for you guys. All right. The next book that I read for the month of January was none other than Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Guys, this book, well, let's first put aside the obvious, this book was a 5-star read for me. So much. Count Tolstoy, my granddaddy, as I call him, could do no wrong for me. All right, he can write the alphabet and I'll give him 5 full stars. You know, jump in here and there, 5. Yes, granddaddy, yeah, 5 stars for him. So Anna Karenina, whatever. Anna, loved it. A review is coming for this. I'm not even going to stop and try to talk anything about this, because if I do, this video will continue going on and on and on. The next book that I listened this from a library, and this was not a planned read. I just happened to pick it up because it was I think I had it on hold on my library and it was released, and I decided why not. That is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I wanted to start reading this author works because I know he's one of those popular translated work, so I wanted to get into reading his work. This particular one, though, I didn't really care for it. I gave it a 2.5 stars. The story, to me, I didn't feel anything for any of the characters within the story. This was a book that I was just kind of wishing that it was over. I just read it because I didn't want to DNF it. One, it's too early in the year for DNFing book. At least that's my policy. It's too early in the year to DNF any books in January. And then 2, I pushed through because, again, this is the first from this author for me. So, you know, sometimes the beginning of a book might be slow and it may pick up in the middle or maybe in the end. So I was kind of just hoping and delaying for that. That never happened for me. I was just happy that it was over, and yeah, 2.5, you know, barely 3 stars for this one. All right. The last book I read for the month of January is none other than my boy, Dickens, Nicholas Nickleby. Guys, I gave this book a 4.5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. Again, Dickens is an author I know for a fact now. I think this is the 3rd book I've read from him, because I'm reading his novels in chronological order. So it was the Pickwick Papers I read first, then Oliver Twist, now Nicholas Nickleby, and the next one I'm going to is, I believe, is The Old Curiosity Shop. All right. That will be my next read from Charles Dickens. I'm absolutely loving it. He is a fantastic writer. Nobody writes like Dickens, guys. Nobody writes like Dickens. Fight me on it. I will be doing reviews separately for his works. So yeah, this was the last book that I read in January month. This round up the, making it 17 books, and yeah, what a way to end. What a way to end, guys. It was worth it. Pick it up. You guys, you won't be disappointed. That's it, guys. Those were the 17 books that I read for the month of January. I had a fantastic month. It was wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better start for 2023. And yeah, I can't wait to see what the rest of the year looks like when it comes to, you know, my reading and all that sort of good stuff. All right, until next time, guys, stay safe and God bless. Bye.